Alright, we rolling out. We headed for the junkyard. Gotta find them missing pieces that the supply chain has let us down on. You can't get for the Nissan head. And what are you looking for?
Anything?
Yeah, he's looking. No, he's looking for a vent window for his 81?
82.
82 Ford pickup. So, headed to the junkyard. Alright, well, we found our first victim. We're going to see if we can get this retainer and keeper off. We're taking the rocker arm assembly off now. So, let's see if we can get figured out. Alright, we're doing this junkyard style. We got to get a retainer and valve keepers. So, got a socket, a hammer, and a shop rag. So, see if we can get this to keep it from going flying. Just wrap your rag around. Put the socket on top. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ow. 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 Not yet. There's one. And in with the hammer. There's one. Gotta try to get that up out of there. See if we can get the rest of it to come. Lay this on the seat, we don't lose it. Alright. It's done got cockeyed. I don't know if it's gonna come out of there or not. Yep, there it is. There we go. Need that and that. Nothing to it. Junkyard style, baby. Somebody put this one on the lid. What a ride. That would not have been fun. Good grief. All right, well, that was a successful trip to the junkyard. Got ready to get to the checkout and showed him what I had. The little valve retainer and the keepers. And he said, I ain't worried about that. I said, okay. So it cost me $5.40 to rent the golf cart. So, okay, no problem. All right, well, you see it looks a lot cleaner than it did. We took a little time off camera. We've got a large wash tub, some Sam's, Members Mark degreaser. Stuff works great. Purple color. It's probably made by the same companies that make the other cleaners. But anyway, soaked it, got all the funk and mess off of it. Cleaned this side as well, dug off a bunch of carbon, got it looking a lot better. But now we're going to install valves in this number 3 cylinder and do a leak test and see if it's that valve that I had so much trouble with is still leaking. So hopefully not, but let's get into it. All right, well, we've got the number 3 put back together. Put a little water on the cylinder side. Wrong hole. I don't see anything leaking there or there. So let her sit a few minutes, see what happens. All right, want to cover this real quick. Yes, I used water to check to see that if it was leaking. Water's not really thin enough to check the valves to see if they're leaking. If you have a major leak or a major problem, yeah, water will run right through. Didn't have any gasoline on at the time of that segment. Since gotten some gasoline, take the head, lay it over, put just enough gas on the combustion side of the to cover the valves, and then check your ports and make sure no gasoline's running out. I also do it in reverse. I lay the head on its side, and this is the intake side. Put just enough gasoline to cover the back side of the valves, and then watch over here on your combustion side to make sure no gasoline is just pouring out. You may see a little gasoline weep around the valves. You let them sit 4 or 5 minutes and you see just a drop or a weeping of gasoline past the valve. That's not a big deal. But if you pour gasoline in and it just runs right through, say 30 seconds or a minute later, and it's empty and all the gasoline's run out, that valve needs to be worked on some more. It's not sealing good enough. So anyway, moving on. We've got to do the rocker arm. We have got to replace, if you remember or not, we talked earlier about this number 3 forward rocker arm. We're gonna look at the replacing the rocker arm on the intake side. You have on this engine, this 2.4 in 97, they had a forward rocker arm and a rear rocker arm. It was 2,000 intake, 1 valve on exhaust. As you've been watching the videos since the beginning, the number 3, as the valve worked up, it got closer and closer to the rocker arm, had nowhere to go, destroyed the lifter section that's inside the rocker arm. So the 3 forward rocker arm is the one that needs to be replaced. They are 2 different part numbers. They're designed and angled differently. The MR1240 by Melling is the forward, and the MR1265 is the rear. We're going to replace the number 3 rocker, both the ones on the number 3 cylinder. At the time I ordered it, couldn't remember which one it was. I had put the truck back together. It had been several months, so I just went ahead. I knew it was number 3 intake, so I just ordered both of them, and they're $20 a piece. So let's get into that and take this rocker arm assembly apart and put these new rockers on. We're going on to the rocker arm assembly, which I have sitting here in front of me, and we'll show you how to take this apart, get the new pieces on, and there you go. We'll get you adjusted where you can see. And over here we've had the new rocker arms. They've been soaking for a while, so let the oil get all the way into the lifter piece. Hit lifter tip. To get these off is pretty simple. Held on with a bolt. We try to keep everything in order, and they just slide right off. So lay them out in order. This piece and a washer and a retainer. All right, there it is. That is the 3 rear. Let's lay it in order. And this is the 3 forward. And as you can see, piece belongs in there, which is the hydraulic piece, is gone. Now, I'm going to show you this. You can tell how to put them back on and which one is which. The forward rocker arm and the rear one, they have these little BBs, okay, that they use to fill a hole that they had to drill. That drilled hole comes in all the way down to the middle and is an oiling hole. Oil comes up in the shaft and supplies oil out here to the hydraulic lifter. But in the manufacturing process, they have to drill that hole to make the body of the lifter to the oil galley. So what they do to fill that hole is they just shove a BB in it. All right, all that said, when you have them in the right order, the forward rocker arm has the BB to the rear of the engine, and the rear rocker arm will have the BB to the front of the engine. So you can see how they are right there. So that's an easy way to tell. Now let's get these out. Lift them out of there with a magnet. Drain a minute. All right, this is the forward front of the engine. So this is the rear of the engine, BB faces to the rear. This is the forward rocker arm for the shaft. Slide it on there and get the alignment bar back in place. There you go, nothing to it. Now, since I've got it, I'm gonna go ahead and install it. The number 3 rocker arm rear. Everybody lined up and happy? All right, there we go. All the others were running fairly quiet. They don't seem to be collapsed. They do feel a little stiff, but they did seem to be working. So we're gonna hope they continue to work. Because at $20 a piece for rocker arms, they get expensive to do anyway, instead of me getting aggravated trying to get that one out without tearing it up. You know how to tell when it's time to go in for the night? Well, when bolts start breaking off. Yep, exhaust stud. Last one I went to tighten. Went to put the ratchet on it, went to turn it, it never even attempted to turn. Got to looking at it, you can tell it's been broke for a long time, and it was just waiting for me to come there and put a wrench on it, and then it snapped on off. What happens when you work on old stuff? Sometimes things break. And that's fine. That's fine. Because it gives me an opportunity to show you how to do an extraction on a broke bolt. So, in the meantime, we're going to put a pin right here in this project until we can get back on removing this broken bolt. So, while you're waiting on me to make that video, why don't you go watch another video on my channel right now.